This episode of Geek-men and the Masters of the ThunderNerds is brought to you by our sponsors, Super 7, Nerd Gear Gaming, and the Madness Entertainment Group. And with us, we have Addy and Nem. How's it going?
What is up? What is up? What is up?
Doing good.
Glad to have you back, Addy.
Yeah, it's nice being a little more awake in the evening to be able to draw still.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. And of course, you had an unfortunate incident with your Apple Pencil,
Right.
and somehow managed to snap it. You didn't know your own strength, so
Yeah, the inside of it, whatever holds the nib on, where it this little sensor thing made a little crunch noise. But it held up for a couple of years, so I'm gonna get a refurbished one.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
And you're reduced to using actual paper.
Archaic stuff. Yeah.
Right. But hey, it's good.
It's good like the Flintstones over there. So.
Right. Yeah, we were just talking about the Flintstones. Yeah.
Yeah.
And we got Pops in the chat saying, "Hey,
what's
Eddie,
up, Pops?
Welcome back."
Hey.
And so Nem, how's it going, man?
Well, minus what I told you about on the backstage, things are going well. So
Yeah.
All things considered, I can't complain. It's another day on this God's green earth. I'm making stuff, doing stuff, and happy to do it. So
yeah,
I'm all good.
Sure. So the stuff you're making, should I play the thing you have there at the bottom?
Sure, absolutely.
All right.
It's entirely up to you. It's your show, so you do whatever it is you want to do. I am here to be a guest, so I will roll with it.
All right. Well, so this is what you have going on, apparently. You will, let's see, hit add to stage and play.
Space monkeys.
Yeah. Awesome. Okay, so let's get into space monkeys here.
All right.
What exactly? How are you bringing this to fruition?
So, first of all, I have to ask everybody, before we go into it, are you familiar with the concept of sea monkeys? We used to have those ads on the back all the time. Yeah. So, I have another comic series called Phoenix Throne that's set in this larger universe that I created called Blood World. And so as I was doing this comic, I needed a back cover for the comic book. And I was going to leave it blank. And I was like, well, I don't want to just leave it blank. I'm paying for blank real estate. So it's like, well, so I'm thinking of something. I'm trying to figure out something. And I was like, well, I want to come up with something that's set in the universe. So it would be part of this universe, but it's kind of a joke. And then I remembered, all of the comics from the 70s and 80s that I loved reading so much. And they had the Sea Monkeys ad back there. And my parents never let me get the Sea Monkeys because they knew it was a scam, so thank you, parents. But so I was like, well, okay. So I came up with Space Monkeys and I drew up this whole ad and everything. In fact, I could probably pull it up, like the ad from the back of the cover. So I did this whole ad, and I did like an ad campaign and a copy, and there was like a fake thing that you could cut out to mail in, and you wouldn't get your Space Monkeys, but I'd appreciate it if you did. And so I did all of that. And I put it on the back cover, and people love the Space Monkeys. In fact, if I'm being perfectly honest, Blood World is like a really serious kind of like science fiction comic.
Yeah.
There were some people that like it, but it's kind of a niche comic. People love Space Monkeys more than the comic it was in at first. Like people were Space Monkeys. So like I was talking to my wife, and I was like, it's like, I'm going to end up doing a Space Monkeys comic. And she's like, well, if that's what people want, you know, it's like, and you like Space Monkeys, then that's what people want. And I was like, you're absolutely right. So I've been working on this for a while. And I've kind of put off bringing it to market just because it's one of those things where I'm like, man, if I dive into this, I'm really going to dive into it. But people have, you know, it's been a while since Blood World came out, and people are still asking me about Space Monkeys. So it's like, okay, we're going in. The book is being finished as we speak. It's more than halfway done. You know, we're taking our time building up a following on Kickstarter and doing the ads. We're going to ramp up the ads some more in October for the pre-launch and everything for a launch next year. You know, but I'm getting out and talking about it. In fact, I could tell you that in October we're going to start a pre-launch campaign where everybody that signs up to be notified will get a keychain and a free print, like a postcard size print, if they order when we launch. You know, so we're stuff like that and everything. And yeah, I'm really excited. So it's a sci-fi parody. For everybody that knows me, you know that I'm sarcastic as all hell. You know, sorry. You know, I cursed a little bit. You know, but I'm sarcastic and I like my parodies. So this comic book is a combination of Mel Brooks and Jay and Silent Bob and Star Wars and Star Trek. You know, all of that kind of thrown it up together, and then you mix in my crazy brain with it, and you get Space Monkeys. So we've got all sorts of stuff. We got musical numbers, and we've got you know, fights, and we've got you know, all sorts of stuff. We've got the Rip-Off Star, which is our name for the Death Star. You know, so it's like all sorts of stuff.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, so
I dig it.
Yeah, so you know, we got our first variant cover from Lou, which was the ad or the picture that you had on the promo. I'm talking to other artists to do variant covers, and yeah, so we're going to be doing that, and yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. We're going to be doing, you know, merchandise and everything. I mean, I don't want to go too crazy, you know, with the merchandise.
Yeah.
So we're going to do a few things. I don't know. We might do a pop, one of the Funko Pops. It depends. But
yeah.
Like today, I placed an order for some prints for the keychains. They're coming in. And then we also made these anime style charms that you can get, you know, so they're kind of cool looking and stuff like that. So we're doing some fun, cool stuff. And like I said, we're going to take it slow, building it up, because when we launch, I want us to go, you know, full into it and, you know, get that funded. And then I even, we're taking it to cons next year as well. So
yeah,
looking forward to it. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's going to be a ton of fun. So
yeah.
Let me see if I can find, I could share some of the art with you from the ad campaign and stuff.
Okay.
But let's see.
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, we've been my artist that I'm working with. He's a guy from Argentina. His name is Mateo Masharowski, and we've worked together on another comic before. We worked together on OPSEC for ASAP Imagination. So, and we have talked for a long time. We've done a lot of work together. He did the Space Monkeys ad for Blood World, and we get along really well together. In fact, if things go well, I may end up going down to help promote it in Argentina, because he wants to do some stuff down there. I don't know. You know,
wow,
we'll
that's
see.
Cool.
But that would be fun.
Yeah.
But let's see. Hold on. I can't find anything. I'm lost.
It's crazy how, I mean, you just seem like you're all, that's going to sound weird. Not all over the place, but what am I trying to say? You're going to come at it from every angle, basically, is what I'm trying to get at. I mean,
yeah.
And you're already prevalent in tons of stuff. So you have a gaming show on Wednesdays tomorrow, and you have NEM in the AM twice a week, and you have the what's your issue, on Fridays with Pops, and I mean you're just, I don't know, balls to the wall, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I tend to like jump
You got a
into it.
lot
I
on
have
your
to
plate. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah, I have to pace myself because I do get tired, and everything. But and sleep when I can and everything. But yeah, it's like I really want to make this stuff work, and I'm trying to like learn a lot of that stuff. It's like anybody with all the independent comics. It's like learning marketing and all of those things. And like I looked at someone, like I found an ad agency that could help you with Kickstarters and everything, and they're like legit.
Yeah.
So I set up a meeting with them and I talked to them, and they were very, very nice. And the lady listened to me and she liked the project and everything. And then she asked me how much I wanted to raise. And I was telling her, for this one, our initial funding goal is modest. I mean, obviously if we go more, it would be great. But, we're only looking for 2,500 on the Kickstarter when it goes live. And she was like, oh yeah, most of our clients, just the initial setup fee is about $8,000. It's like, most of the time we get $50,000 or $60,000 on the campaigns. And I was like, oh, that's great. But, $8,000, that's a lot of scratch, So
Yeah.
she's like, so she gave me some good resources. She's like, you might not be a good fit for us right now. I was like, you think?
Yeah. Hey, Matt.
What's up, Matthew? So yeah, I put the back cover is there from
okay.
the Phoenix Throne. So yeah, so that was the ad we came up, for Space Monkeys. And there's like copy on there, like we wrote stuff, like, hey kids, you can have like miniature battles in the microverse, grow your space monkeys and fight each other stuff. So,
that's cool.
Yeah, so we did all this, and we have a bunch of Space Monkey different characters that we have that we might do some stuff with that we drew, but then obviously we got the stuff in the comics, so we got our main characters and everything. So we're going to be doing like shirts and mugs and hats and whatever else people want, probably prints.
You gonna sell actual Space Monkey little aquarium things?
I would love to do that. I would love to do that. I just don't, who knows though, like if you get in trouble, but it would be funny to like sell space monkeys, it's like they're just empty, it's like an empty thing. It's like, here's your pet space monkey or something. But yeah, it'd be a lot of fun. But the whole premise behind Space Monkeys is that and eventually, in a later comic, you will find out what body it's in, but it's like the whole human body is a microverse unto itself. And actually, the whole story is taking place in one cell. So one blood cell is their whole universe, and they're fighting and fighting off the mutate league and everything. And
yeah, Osmosis Jones.
yeah. So, which is the whole point of like the rip-off star. So like the mutation, the evil mutations are trying to rip off the side of the blood cell so they can get into it. So the space monkeys are fighting to save their universe and find out what's going on and everything. So yeah, it's going to be a lot of fun to do, but I just love to do parodies, and Mel Brooks is one of my favorites. So like I will honestly or freely say that there is a lot of Mel Brooks and inspiration in this. So
that's cool.
Lots of stuff. But we even have like, yeah, I think I already released it, but we have some cameos in here. So instead of Deadpool, we've got Monkey Pool, that shows up at one point, and we've got our version of Chewbacca is a big old huge space monkey called Huey that's got a long ZZ Top beard like Dustin, and it like goes down and covers himself, so we got all sorts of stuff, and we got jokes and parody stuff, but we got some cool stuff too. We got some really cool battles, especially towards the end of the first issue, so you get to see some cool stuff. And the really cool part is that in the comic itself, without giving too much away, because I don't want to spoil it, and I have a tendency to do that, part of the plot is the Leonardan oracles. So for everybody who doesn't know, Leonardo is the name of the town that Jay and Silent Bob live in. So
Okay.
the Kevin Smith movies. So and Jay and Silent Bob have their comic book alter egos, which were Blunt Man and Chronic. So we've got God, now I can't remember, Cosmic and Blunt Mike in this in this one, and they're the Leonardan oracles, and and so at some point they make an appearance and do their whole thing and their whole shtick, and they're going to be part of the ongoing thing. So we had all that, and I have a friend who is an acquaintance of Kevin Smith, and so they talked to them. So when the book is done, we're going to be able to go to the Secret Stash, which is Kevin Smith's comic store, and talk to them about getting the book in there. And then I'm hopeful that we can get the book in Kevin Smith's hands, which would be cool if he could just like hold it up and like, look, it's Space Monkey, there's Blunt Mike, so which would be
That's
cool.
awesome.
So yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So so it's one of those things. It's not where I thought I would end up. I mean, I've got lots of things published in different genres. I have a horror novel, and I wanted to keep writing that series, and eventually I'll get back to that. And I've got the hard science fiction stuff I was writing, which I like, but people like this, and it's like, and I like it too. So and the hard thing was I want to do all those things, but it's like I'm only one person, so it's like I'm concentrating on Space Monkeys right now, and it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. So
yeah, I hear that. Oh man, so I mean that's like, I feel like that's similar to what I did. Like I'm just, I went to school for writing, creative writing for entertainment and stuff like that. So I learned all the comic book stuff and all that stuff, and I was left into the world. And so I started a magazine with my friend, and then we focused on that for a while. And then I did that while I was focusing on the podcast for a long time. And so things have just been coming and going. And it's like, I've never gotten back to the writing aspect that I really want to concentrate on. But so it's funny how that's seems to be common amongst a lot of different creators.
Yeah. Well, it's like when I came into this, it's funny. For a long time, I would write, but I would write just for myself, and I threw a lot of writing out, and I never thought that anything I wrote was really worth trying to put out into the world. And then I got to a point where I can't work out of the house anymore, and I was just kind of sitting around the house, watching lots of TV, like video games, which sounds a lot better than it really is. It's really, really horrible. So I was doing that for a long time, and then I ended up answering an ad to be a comic reviewer. And so I started reviewing comics, and then I started reviewing movies, and I started going to like premieres and stuff like that, which was a lot of fun. And then someone asked me to help them develop some stuff behind the scenes for a comic book, which I did, because they knew that I wrote, and some of the stuff I had done they had seen. And then they asked me to write a comic book for them. So I did that. And that's kind of, that was fairly recently, all things considered. That was like 5 years ago, 6 years ago.
Okay.
And so I did that. And then I was like, well, maybe I'll actually finish a novel and have it published. So I did that. and got that done. And then I did my first own comic book, which was Phoenix Throne. And then since then, I've had 2 more issues of OPSEC as well. So, I've gotten these comics published, but it's like, it's been trial and error the whole time, trying to figure out what to do. And I can't say that I have the answers, but like one of the things I have to give all credit to my wife. My wife is like very wise, and she comes up with these nuggets, and she's like, like I was going by the name D.W. Howard on my stuff, and she's like, that's really boring. She's like, everybody knows you as NEM. Just be NEM, So I was like, okay, so it's like rebranded everything, came up with the new website, NEM Space Online, and it's like I've gotten more hits on that website in 2 weeks than I ever did on my other site in 5 years. It's like tons more. So, it's like, and then she came up with the idea, like, I haven't really pushed the merchandise yet, but like on NEM Space Online, we've got like mugs with just my sunglasses on it, because I'm always wearing the sunglasses, and stuff like that. So I'm like, where do you come up with these ideas? She's like, it just happens. So
yeah,
but
it's funny.
Yeah, it's one of those things. It's like it's hard. Like I saw an interview earlier today. It's hard because you just want to be a writer, but unfortunately or fortunately, whatever way you look at it, independent, it's like you got to grow everything. You got to do the advertising, and most of the time, people are buying stuff from people they know. They don't, not saying that they don't care about how good it is what you write, but they're not even going to give you a chance to see what you write if they don't know who you are. So which is it's one of those things. It's like those when you're a parent. There's a bunch of stuff that people don't tell you that you find out the hard way. So but I'm enjoying it. It's good. I just get tired sometimes. So
yeah, I hear that. You're preaching the choir, buddy. I hear that. But dude, I'm excited for you. This seems like a lot of fun, especially you seem to be enjoying it just from knowing you and whatnot. And so
it's funny though, because like I said, it's just when I found out that, like, I spent a ton of time developing the Blood world, and I would love to go back to it someday. And when so many people were loving the Space Monkeys, I was like, that was like a throwaway idea that I put on the back cover. And I was like, and people love it, and I haven't even developed it, so then it just never died down. And then I started doing the development work on it. I started telling people about the story and everything, and they loved it even more. And I'm like, this world is nuts. It's crazy.
You know
never
what?
know.
It's like perfect timing right now, because you can really promote the shit out of this once the Spaceballs 2 comes out,
Yeah.
ride those coattails.
Yeah. I totally forgot about that. That's true.
And it's one of those things where it's like I never would have expected that this would be the thing that I was going to go all in on. But, once I came to that realization, I was like, hey, it's like provident. You never know what's going to happen. And I'm just going to go with the flow. And I love the Space Monkeys now, and I'm totally into it. And, eventually I want to go back to those other things. But if people want Space Monkeys, and I want Space Monkeys, then I guess we're going to do Space Monkeys. So, because
Space Monkeys are going to happen.
Yeah. So I'm really looking forward to it. It's a ton of fun. There's a lot of stuff that I would like to do with it that is in the future. And I think that's the hardest part, is that you got to grow bit by bit, like I would love to do a Space Monkeys card game or a board game. I would even love to do like a little, like a tactical, like a miniature game, like 40K, but like Space Monkeys, so which would be cool.
That would be fun.
Make like trading cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think you should, because especially, I mean, if you look at Lori's campaign or Clarissa's campaign or Carissa's, I can't speak, my tongue isn't working. Anyway, her campaign, she has all these little bits and bobs and stuff to go with it that you can sell on top of, just, there's so much more to Space Monkeys than just face value. So I think you should. That sounds fun.
Absolutely. And the really fun part is that, by the way, I love the princess that you're drawing over there. So
thanks. Cool. Yeah.
The really fun part is how a lot of artists are kind of, the ones that I've talked to about doing covers and stuff have really leaned into the parody. So like Lou Pons, I think that's how you say her last name. She did that cover that you had. In fact, you know what? Let me pull it up since we're all kind of hiding it. But yeah, so she did that cover, and she asked me what I wanted her to draw, and I was like, whatever it is you want to draw, So I'll send you the script, and you can look at it, and and she asked me, and I sent her the sequential art that we have, and she looked at it, and she was asking me some questions. She really liked the script. She thought it was a lot of fun, and I would love to work with Lou again. So she looked at it and she saw the other cover that I have, and she's like, I want to do something in the style of the Star Wars novels, like the front covers. I said, that's great. And then she came up with this, and I was like, oh my Lord, that's fantastic. So yeah, I want to get some more covers. Like, I would love to get a cover that's in the style of like a pure action comic, with like all beefed out space monkeys and stuff, so I do different stuff like that. In fact, I kind of want to see if I can find an artist who could do one like a romance novel cover, so.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right.
Yeah. So, different stuff like that. And, to have the different covers like that available. And there's a lot of stuff that people are having a lot of fun with, and that's the whole point, is that, this is what makes me so happy about Space Monkeys, is it's kind of just who I am. I'm not like trying to be a serious writer. Not that I'm not a serious writer, but in real life, I'm sarcastic. I like to do parodies. I like to joke around all the time. So like writing Space Monkeys is like me just sitting around watching a movie with somebody where I'm just telling jokes the whole time and stuff, So it's a blast. It's really cool. So I'm having fun. And I'm taking a leap into the unknown on this one as well, because my actual drawing is not anything I would want to unleash on my worst enemy, but I can't color after painting miniatures and everything. So I'm doing the digital color and the lettering on this comic. So
nice.
Yeah. So I'm excited about that. So most days, some days I look at it and I'm like, this is beep, so it's like,
it's like, maybe I'm doing this the wrong way. Maybe I shouldn't do this.
Yeah. There are days, my wife kind of knows, like she'll listen, she'll hear me in the back while I'm working. And there are days where I wake up and it's like, it's the same way with my writing. I'll look at it, it's like, I suck. I'm giving up on everything. Grumbling, so it's like, but like I said, I'm sure that if Carrie was watching this, she would tell me that I'm whipped again, which is true for Mrs. Nem. But she's like the novel that I have published. I was getting ready to actually physically burn. I printed it out, was going to burn it like symbolically. And she was like, no. She was like, this time, this one is getting published. I was like, no. She's
no, like, yep. It's my worst one yet. I feel like that was a Stephen King story too, because he threw out Carrie, and she came by and saw it and was like, no, you have something here, and put it back on his desk. It's like, so yeah, I hear you.
You know, it's crazy though, is that my parents got a hold of my novel, and I was really worried. I will say that the novel is a pure horror story. It's a crime
Mhm.
procedural, but it's horror and supernatural and stuff like that. And
Yeah.
it's very Catholic. I'm Catholic, and there's a lot of very Catholic stuff in it, with
Yeah.
like demons and all sorts of stuff. And so my parents are really religious, and there is some deep stuff going on in the novel. And they read it, and I was kind of worried. And my dad has never really been too much into comics and stuff. He's going, oh, that's nice. So he read the book, and my dad, after he's done, we're sitting down, and I was kind of worried what he's going to say. And he looks at me, and he's like, I can't believe that my kid wrote something this good. And I was like, well, I could die now. I'm good. So,
Right. Yeah, you're
yeah, it was
sitting there
pretty
waiting
good.
for the worst, prepared for the worst, and you're like, and then he's just like, so good, and you're like, wait, what? I
Yeah,
was like, you're prepared for him to say so terrible and blasphemous or something like that, and he said good. Where you're like, wait, what?
exactly. I mean,
Your
this
neck
is the
starts
man.
twisting around.
This is the man when I graduated from West Point. He took me aside and he looked at me and he patted me once on the shoulder and he said, "You did okay," and that was it. Yeah, it's like, all right,
You did
So
okay, but that
yeah,
hey, sometimes that's that's all you need. Sometimes I suppose I don't know.
yeah, no, I can't complain. It was just like I said. I was like, all right. Um, so, but yeah, and but I have to say, it's just been a ton of fun to
Yeah,
do all of this and work on Space Monkeys, and I also have to give credit to the great people that I've met in the indie
yeah,
community that have helped. Uh, all sorts of people. Shout out to Pops. Shout out to Al Mega from Comic Crusaders. Shout out to Lori Calcaterra. I'm always asking her questions, and the thing is Lori helps, and she'll give me that constructive criticism, and sometimes she'll tell me, she's like, "Yeah, that doesn't work. It's not good." So
yeah,
you need to hear. You
yeah.
need to hear that. My wife is the same way. My wife is an English teacher, or she's got an English degree. She teaches kindergarten now, but so she's got a degree in English, and she'll read stuff like she's read, especially when I was doing my novel and my short stories and stuff, and she'll read it and she's like, "This stinks." I was like, "Oh, okay." So
Yeah, see, I mean, that's like it's one of those things you need to be able to trust the source that it's coming from. Like, so my mom has read pretty much every single thing I've ever written, just about. Um,
mhm.
but it's like, okay, so she says it's good, and it's like, all right, well, I need someone else to read it before I believe it. It's like, no, no, no.
Right.
I believe that you think it's good, but you also think that everything I do is good. But so it doesn't really count.
Yeah.
I need someone else, someone I don't
Yes.
know, maybe I look up to or something to be like, oh wow, this is really good before I'll believe it.
I know exactly how you feel. It's
Yeah,
like when my wife reads something and then she'll finally say, "Oh, this is good." I'm like, "Well, you kind of have to say that, don't you?" It's like
yeah,
she doesn't, because she'll say whatever she feels, but it's like at the same time you're like,
yeah,
you know. But no, it's a lot of fun, um, and I think the whole thing is it's oh, man, I'm stumbling now. I'm like all over the place. It's weird. The weirdest thing for me is that I am 54 now. And there are times where I'm like, I'm too old to be starting a new career and everything. And then I'm like, but that's ridiculous. It's like,
yeah.
so it, you got to break through like all that negative self-talk and everything and just keep doing
Hmm.
it and have fun with it. And yeah, there are times when if I would look back and I want to like dwell on the past, I could, because I worked a 9 to 5 for a long time for a bank and other industries as a computer guy, and I hated it,
Yeah,
and it's like I could have been a writer that whole time, but you know what? it is what it is, you know. So I'm doing what I love now, and my wife is very supportive, you know, which is helpful, and
Mm-hmm.
so it's really cool and exciting, and I can't wait to do it. And it's a little scary sometimes. Like I'm going to go to a con for the first time.
Yeah.
So I've only sold stuff online or in like very small, like comic stuff, not like a regular convention. So
Yeah.
I'm actually going to WonderCon and a couple other cons next year. And I might be going to San Diego, though I really don't want to. It's way too big.
Daunting.
Yeah. But it's like, it just becomes really real at that point, you know.
Oh
But it's
yeah,
like,
definitely. That's
oh,
really awesome. I'm very happy for you that you're going to
thank you.
cons and getting it out there. Because I mean, this is a fun idea. I think it, you know, you already know what I think, but I think this is going to be
Yeah.
gangbusters for you. I think it's going to be good.
See, now I have to ask your opinion on something. This is one of the things, like I'm already starting to plan for the cons for next year and what I'm going to print out and bring with me, you know. So I've got my OPSEC book, which is a horror comic, but it's very tongue in cheek and satire and stuff. Like one of the main characters in OPSEC is a demonically possessed doll called Maisie, but she's always cracking off jokes, and you know, and she's, you know, all these other stuff. She's a blast to write, you
Yeah.
know. So that's kind of my style, even though it's a horror comic. You know, it still kind of would fit in with Space Monkeys. But then the other thing I have is like Phoenix Throne, which is very serious science fiction. And then I've got an actual horror novel. And I'm like, when I go to the cons, should I only bring Space Monkeys or should I bring all of my stuff? Like, I don't know. I'm trying to figure that out. So
I think you should. I personally think you should bring everything, because you never know if you can have everything out of the table, and then you could be like, "Hey, is comedy your thing? Here is horror your thing? Here." You know, and then you could just point to all the different genre of books that, you know, someone might fit into. Or you never know, as you're talking to someone, they'll be like, "Oh yeah, I really into this," or "Oh, I like supernatural. Hey, go here. Hey,
yeah.
you know, you like parodies and space monkeys, you know, that type of thing. You just go here. You just make sure you have something to offer everybody.
Yeah, one time I went to a Christmas craft fair. I made a bunch of stuff, stressed and being like, what do people want? And I made a bunch of stuff, and I started sketching, and some kids came up and said, can you draw me? And what I sold a ton of was just kids asking me to draw them in various ways. So it's like, all right, well, yeah, I guess anything can happen.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean that's good advice, because by this time next year I could probably, you know, I'll have 6 published comic books and then the novel and then a book of short stories. So
Yeah.
you know, plus all the merch and everything. So yeah, you know,
Make sure you have stickers, bookmarks, you
yeah,
know, all that kind of stuff. Because I mean, it for every little thing you have, especially if it's just a sticker or something you can hand out to someone, like a QR code or something.
mhm.
If it's gets them to stop and pick up something, then that is instant, you know, being able to pull them in and be like, hey,
put a bowl of candy on the table like some people do. Some people do that.
There are people that do that. You know,
What's always,
go ahead.
what did Pop say? What's always amazing to me is that I'll come up with these ideas, and I'm like, I guess it's one of those things where never be afraid to try ideas. You know, they may not all work out, but some of the ones you don't expect to work out will. Like when we were
Like Space
doing the
Monkeys.
Phoenix, yeah, well, we were doing the Phoenix Stone campaign. One of the tiers I offered that several people bought, and it's like one of the things I want to bring back to the actual Space Monkey campaign, and I would like to do it at the cons as well. Is we did this thing where you could adopt a space monkey, and like you got to name it, and that was its name, and you got like an adoption certificate, like the Cabbage Patch Kids,
Yeah,
and you know the whole thing, you know, and people were like excited about that, you know. Or one of the things we did, which I may actually do again, is if we reach a certain stretch goal, I'll get a tattoo of Space Monkey on my butt, so it's like, so and at 54, that is those small feet to go get a tattoo anymore. So, but,
yeah, so Pop
yeah,
said the more you have at the table, the bigger body of work that they have at the con that they can see. So,
well, like
there's a character artist that at an event that recently said he got paid $3,000 for the day.
Wow.
Yeah, that's pretty.
One
crazy.
of the things, if I get the time, I would like to make the time. One of the things that Lori Calcaterra does that I love is the choose your own adventures. So I would love to do something like that. But we're also doing one of the stretch goals we're going to have on this campaign is we're going to do. Gosh, I can't remember what they're called. There are like these play sets where you can get vinyl stickers and you put them on like a waxed background, and you can make like playthings. You put the letters on them and stuff, like vinyl forms, I think they were called, or something like that. Okay. I don't know. Yeah, we do that, but yeah, I really want to do like some of the 3D printed stuff. Like I would love to do little figures and eventually turn it into a tactical game, even like a Battlefleet Gothic game with the ships and and stuff like that. It would be really, really cool. It'd be a lot of fun. So
yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a blast. And it's one of those things where I've wanted it to go faster than it is. I wanted to go and launch the campaign in October, but I'm like, you know what? I really want to take my time and build up my following and build up people following the campaign so that when we go live, people are anticipating it, they're excited about it, and then, we'll go launch it and immediately, get all the people in there instead of just, kind of going live before we're fully ready. So
yeah, no, I get that, and I mean, I feel like you have a decent following already. I know I've signed up for it already, so
yeah. Yeah, no, I mean it's been really good, but like one of the things, I'll be honest, one of the things that I am definitely doing is a thing that I'm not a huge fan of, which is social media stuff and everything. But I'm really trying to grow. God, I hate this word. My brand, So, but
it's
actually,
a very hard thing to do.
Yeah. Pops was saying I need to go buy just the NEM, like the Fonz. I'll be the NEM now, but but I'm trying to do that. So I'm like being on social media all the time. I've set up like the social media, like I plan my social media out for the whole month. So I'm like doing all sorts of blog posts and getting it out there. And it's interesting because I'm just putting all these blog posts and stuff out there about things that I've read about, like character creation or tools to help you do stuff and all these different things. And little by little, people are coming to the site and realizing who I am. And it's driving more people to the Kickstarter little by little. And then we're going to do these ads and stuff like that. So it's just bit by bit building it up. And it's one of those things where the first Kickstarter I did failed absolutely miserably. And I thought, well, if I just write something good, the people will come. And it's like, no, the writing is only a small part of it,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
Branding
I hear
is
that.
key. Yeah. Yeah,
it's I think that's rough, but I believe it.
Yeah.
I don't want it to be true, but I believe it.
No, I absolutely agree with you. I don't want it to be true either. In fact, I was butting my head against it for a couple of years where I'm like, no, and then it was like, well, then I'll take a shortcut. Like I'll find somebody to do it for me. And it's like, well, if you're not independently wealthy, you can't find somebody to do it for you. And even then there's no guarantee, it's like, it's something you got to do. It is what it is. And it's like, once I came to that realization, then I was like, well, if it's something I got to do, then I'll do it. I love the Apprentice. That is so cool.
Yeah.
Her name in the
Thanks,
book
Shiny.
is Sabrina, by the way. So Princess
Oh, okay.
Sabrina. That's
Okay,
so
yeah.
cute.
And
That's
she's like a
funny.
gold Sharpie. Looks really cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah, Addie does some great work here.
Hey Matthew.
It's
Yeah, do go check out Matthew's Night Slayers. It's coming up. So
Yeah. And here's the link for that for anyone that wants to check that out.
yeah. But yeah, so a lot of what I'm doing right now, prepping for the launch, is stuff that's not even really involved with Space Monkeys. It's like blog posts and getting social media stuff to get people familiar, because people start coming to the site and everything, and then when I start putting stuff out about Space Monkeys, then people want to see what I'm doing. So yeah, it's you know it's interesting.
Yeah.
It's the best way I could put it. Although I will say this, I refuse to be one of those people that like doom posts to get following. That I won't do. So I'm not going to go out there and like be super negative and spew hate
Yeah.
towards everything and all that other stuff. It's like that. I draw the line at that. So it's like I may strip online for everybody. I don't know. We'll see. That may drive people away, but I'm not going to like do all that other stuff.
Yeah,
so.
pay. What was it? Chris said, you have to pay for me to keep my clothes on.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, if you go back Space Monkeys, I'm going to take a piece of clothing off. And I was like, oh, we'll back it. So, oh, man.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
no,
Good stuff.
it's good. And you know what? And I can't complain. And, but doing all of the podcasts and everything is fun for me.
Yeah.
It's a break. It gets me to do something else, and I enjoy it. If there was a way to do that for a living, I probably would love. Like, I love doing the NEM and the AM show. It's something I've wanted to do for a long time.
Yeah.
Although it's funny because we just interviewed somebody on What's Your Issue,
Mm-hmm.
and I really empathize with a lot of what he was talking about. He's Chuck Schutte, and
Okay.
when you do interviews for the first time, I remember the first time I interviewed anybody. My first interview ever was with Scott Snyder, and man, I was so nervous. I had all the questions written out, and I was like reading them verbatim, and and everything, and and eventually I learned that it was just like, oh, just have a conversation with people and
Yeah.
just talk, so.
That's something that I've had to learn too. I know other people who are used to be on the show and all that stuff, that they would have all the questions written down and they were very prepared and all this stuff, and I think that's great. But at the same time, I just think having a real life conversation that flows, ebbs and flows naturally, is a lot better in the long run.
Yeah.
But I'm still learning. So.
I mean, the more you do it, the easier it gets. I was a theater kid, so I was primed for talking to strangers on the internet, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I always do my research, but yeah, it's fun just to talk. Like, I got to interview Elvira, like Cassandra Peters, and when her autobiography came out a couple years ago, and we were reading all that, and my wife is also a huge Elvira fan, so she took the day off to like say hello, just say hello. And by the way, one of the nicest people I've ever met. We were supposed to do a video interview, and her people told it was just voice. So she showed up, and she wasn't in her makeup or anything, and she's like, "Oh, I can't do it." And I was like, "Oh, okay." And then I explained to her, if I asked her if my wife could just say hello because she'd take the day off work. She was like, "Oh, sure." And she came in and she sat and just talked to us for 45 minutes.
That's
just
awesome.
hanging out before she rescheduled the interview. Then we rescheduled the interview. And so I read her book, and her book is hilarious. And there's lots of really interesting stuff in there and everything. But one bit that I read about in there is that she lived in a treehouse for a year in Hollywood because she was with a boyfriend who lived in a treehouse. And so, yeah. So I'm reading this, and I had to. The first question I asked her is like, I saw that you lived in a treehouse for a year. I got to ask you, how do you pee when you live in a treehouse? And she's like, thank you. Someone finally asked me about the treehouse. No one has ever asked me about the treehouse. So, and she went into the whole thing about, living in the treehouse and and she thought it was great, and it was a great icebreaker, conversation starter, and everything. So
yeah,
cool. Pop says, what podcast? Oh, that would be the What's Your Issue podcast. So that is now exclusively on Roku. So
yeah, okay, yeah. What podcast? Oh yeah, because I think he's saying that because what podcast? It's not up anymore.
Yeah.
So, well, I got to say, love this piece of art Addie did.
Yeah.
What was her
really
name
cool.
again? Princess what?
Princess Sabrina. So,
Sabrina. Awesome.
Yeah. She is.
Princess Sabrina.
Yeah, Princess Sabrina is fun. In fact, there's one fight sequence towards the beginning of Space Monkeys where she's kicking ass and singing her version of Cherry Bomb, that song by the Runaways. So it's pretty cool. So
all right. Well, we need to head out. We have another show at the top of the hour, and Pops is needing to set up. So
this was a blast. I hope I didn't talk too much. So
no. It was great. And I'm really excited about Space Monkeys, and this piece of art is so cool, and this piece of art is so amazing, and it's gonna be fun.
Go check out nemspace.online, or if you go to Kickstarter and search for Space Monkeys, the pre-launch page will come up. So check that out and look for our special giveaway. It's going to be coming probably beginning of October. We're going to have the postcard prints and also the keychains that will be available for people who sign up for the pre-launch. So
awesome. I appreciate your time and hanging out with us, and it was a fun time.
Absolutely, and have fun with friggin' figures after this, right?
Yeah.
All right, cool.
All right. Well, we'll be seeing you around the house, hanging out.
I will see you tomorrow morning.
That's right.
So.
All right.
All right.
Here's our intro. Addie, where can we find you?
At Addie Marie Art on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube.
All right. Well, until next time, ThunderNerds ho.
The live viewing of any Madness Entertainment Group production, you can find all our content on Roku or as a member of this channel. We'll see you next time on the Madness Entertainment